Hello, my name's Rory. Welcome to Claudin Painting Studio. In this week's painting video, I'm going to be painting an Ork truck. Regular viewers are probably wondering what on earth I'm doing with a sci-fi vehicle on my desk in front of me, but it is Orktober, and I really need to do something different to refresh my painting palette. A lot of Napoleonic stuff recently, and I need to do something totally different. This Ork truck, I got it off eBay ages ago. It's been sitting in a box with nothing happening to it. Someone enthusiastically glued this together with the driver and gutter squeezed in there, jerry can precariously placed at the front, but it was not in too bad a condition at all. It wasn't painted, which has made this process a bit easier. I've given it an undercoat with Hyrax brown from the Colour Forge, so I'm going to make a really dirty truck, quite rusty. First colour I've got is some Iron Painter Plate Mail Metal, and I'm going to dry brush this all over. There's a lot of nice sculpted detail on the base of the flatbed, and a dry brush will pick up the edges with something a bit shiny. That'll look like areas where the rusty base metal is getting worn consistently and regularly. Doesn't matter if I get it on the tyres, so I'll paint them a different colour. And likewise, if it gets splashed on the driver and gunner, that's absolutely fine. I will swap down to a smaller dry brush to get into some of the more hard to reach areas around the controls, and I'll show you what that looks like. I got a pair of locking tweezers and a bit of sponge from a blister pack, because I'm old and I still buy metal models. You can just use some kitchen sponge. I've dipped that in some rat brown from Coat d'Arms, and I'm going to sponge this roughly all over the model, and this is going to simulate a bit of rust, a bit of wear and tear. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You can go basically anywhere, and it's useful for breaking up areas where maybe the dry brushing has gone on a bit too thick. That looks good on rivets and bolts. If you're wondering about how I'm holding the model, I've got a milk bottle cap there, and I've used some glue dots, which are little self-adhesive circles, and it just means I can keep my fingers off the paintwork. I'm going to add some fresher looking rust with some Troll Slayer orange from Citadel, again on a bit of sponge. I want to go at this a bit more gently than I did with the previous brown. Maybe less fresh rust on this old knackered truck. Got some Vallejo model colour German grey, and where I've got the rust patches I will just go back in, dabbing very lightly over the top. Makes it look like there's some chips there. Some Vallejo Game Silver. I'll do this sponging on the very extreme edges, some of the raised rivets, and this is just where the metal's getting regularly scuffed and the rust is getting cleaned off. Doing some pin washing now. This is Army Painter's Strong Tone, diluted in a 3:1 ratio with mixing medium. You could do a big all over wash. I'm just trying to make mine a little bit more targeted. Potentially less tidy up this way afterwards. But I'm going around all the rivets and into the gaps between the plates I've gone back to the German grey and I'm going to paint the tyres. I'm also using the German grey to pick out some of the details on the driver, gunner and controls. I imagine that in order to lay down plenty of DACA, the Orks would keep the heavy shooter in reasonable condition, so I haven't applied any of the rust on there. I'm giving it a coat of Speedpaint Grim Black. And this will look oily but still with a bit of a metallic sheen through it. It's time to tackle the greenskins themselves. My base colour is Angel Green from the Army Painter. This is Paratrooper Tan from the Army Painter. Got some little furry bracelets. I'll start to pick out their teeth with this as well. First highlight colour on the green is Army Painter Guardian Green. I'm using Worn Stone from the Army Painter to highlight the teeth. Army Painter Wolf Grey provides a nice highlight for the edge of the black areas. My final highlight for the Ork skin is the appropriately named Greenskin from the Army Painter. Bottom lip of the Ork is getting painted with some Wyvern Fury from the Army Painter. I'm putting a glaze of the Wyvern Fury under the cheeks and across the nose. The lenses of the lights and the Ork's goggles are getting a coat of Vallejo model colour Sky Blue. I'm now layering some Arctic Gem from the Army Painter across the top third. And some Wolf Grey across the bottom third. This is Vallejo Game Colour Wolf Grey. Putting some details onto these dials. And then with some Dragon Red. I feel like the truck's a bit monotone at the moment. So with some of that Dragon Red and a sponge, I'm going to start colouring in the jerry can. This is a simple way to make something look a bit rough and ready. I'll start dirtying that up again with some of the German grey back on the sponge. I'll do the same with some of the rat brown and maybe some of the Troll Slayer orange. My circa 2000 Orky transfers aren't working. They're tearing as I try and take them off the transfer sheet. So we're going to do a bit of freehand on here instead. And the thing to remember is that orcs probably don't have the best artistic talent. So if it looks crude, that's half the point. I think the secret to any bit of freehand or transfer for that matter is that you need to get it blended in with the surface you've applied it to, and weathering with a sponge is the easiest way to do that. So a bit of German grey on here again. I'll just start to dirty that up a bit and make it look part of the truck. I used a bit of the rat brown on the Orky glyph, and I'm going to dry brush the tyres now with a bit of desert yellow from the army painter. And here we have it then, one Ork Wartrukk from the late 90s, all painted up. It's been a long time since I have painted a 40k miniature, and I've really enjoyed doing something completely different. I think sometimes when you're painting lots of the same sort of thing, you can almost burn yourself out on your hobby, and having something that's totally different as a way to refresh the enthusiasm can be a great choice for painting. I'm probably preaching to the converted, but just paint what you want to paint when you want to paint it. A huge part of this hobby is about giving yourself a good outlet and improving your mental health. And if it takes a silly pair of orcs in their rusty truck, ready to get blown up at the first sign of enemy gunfire, then so be it. It was good fun, and I'm happy to have achieved this rusty little jalopy for the road. If you're still hanging on in there, thanks for coming on this painting journey with me. I hope it's been enjoyable. If you like this sort of thing, tell me why down in the comments below. As always, a big thanks to my channel members and Patreon supporters who are enjoying things like early access to these videos and helping providing me with some money for paints. Bye everyone, I'll be back again soon with some more videos.